What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we need to have a little bit of a talk about the best collectible card games. And by best, I mean best-selling. The lovely folks over at ICV2.com, every 6 months, twice a year, they talk to retailers, distributors and manufacturers and create a list of the top 10 collectible games. And we are going to start having a look and analysing this every time it comes out. But there are a couple of things that really jump out to me looking at the list here. And one of the weirdest things, let's start straight off the bat, Keyforge is in at number 3. Well, hang on a second. Number 3? The top 3 for a long time has been reserved for Magic, Pokémon, and Yu-Gi-Oh! If we compare it to the fall 2018 list, Magic, Pokémon, Yu-Gi-Oh! Now, to be fair, Keyforge had a very strong debut in at number 4, jumping over games like Dragon Ball Super, Star Wars, Destiny, Cardfight, Vanguard, which are far more established. Debuting in at number 4 was amazing. But number 3? They've actually gone and beaten Yu-Gi-Oh! That's ridiculous. I mean, in a great way. I'm delighted. I'm a huge fan of Keyforge, as you lovely ladies and gentlemen know. But this is not what we expect to happen. Magic, Pokemon, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Have been very well established for many years. They are the top 3. If we go back slightly further to spring 2018, top 3, Magic, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh! If we go back slightly further to fall 2017, the top 3, Magic, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh! You see where we're going here, ladies and gentlemen. They're always the top 3. They have been for years. And now all of a sudden, Keyforge jumps in at number 3. So what happened? How did Keyforge get in? Now, Keyforge debuted at number 4, and that was pretty amazing. And the thing was that Keyforge, for those that don't know, is a unique deck game. The first ever unique deck game. What happens is that you go and buy yourself a deck for about $10, and you get... Well, there are 7 houses in the game at the moment. There's going to be more soon. And you get 12 cards from each of those 3 houses, though there are a bunch of rules to stop unfair combos and things like that. And that's your deck. And you can either play with that deck or buy a different deck. You can't swap cards in or out. You have to have a unique deck. No 2 decks are ever the same, and that's what you play with. So at first there was the hype. It was brand new. It was novel. So that kind of explains why Keyforge did so well in fall 2018. Fall 2018 kind of makes sense because it's the new hip thing. It's everyone's buying a deck or 2 just to try it out. But a lot of people have accused Keyforge of being a flash in the pan. Well, if it was going to be a flash in the pan, then it would have stayed at number 4 or started dropping. This seems to suggest that Keyforge is going to be around for a very long time and doing very well indeed. Now, obviously, things could change. One suggestion I've heard for why Keyforge is doing so well is because, let's take, say, the Pokemon trading card game. They have just released Unified Minds. Unified Minds is the biggest set they've ever released. It's a huge set. But you can only put 4 of each card in the deck. So sooner or later, there is going to come a point where you have bought either all the cards you want from a set, or you have got literally a playset of everything and you cannot open new cards. Or you can, but you're never going to get anything you don't already have. And sure, you can buy more to speculate and try and sell on, etc. But there comes a time where buying more really isn't worth it, and a lot of players just buy singles to get the cards that they want. Whereas Keyforge says, no, I'm done with this set. There'll be sets you like more and sets you like less, but there's always going to be an, oh, I could just buy one more deck because it might be different to my other decks. And maybe that is the reason why Keyforge is doing so well so quickly, because the players who are playing it never run out of decks to buy. They might stop buying decks, but not because they're out of stuff to buy. Now, worth pointing out at this stage that this is the hobby channel, i.e. the players and the people buying it in hobby shops. In terms of the mass channel, it's still Pokemon, Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh! Because if you go into a Walmart in the US, if you go into a game or whatever in the UK, you're still going to find those free games far more than you'll find Keyforge. Keyforge is not really old enough to be in all the supermarkets yet. And incidentally, that still gives it a 4th place ranking overall. But in terms of the hobby channel, getting it at number 3 is ridiculous. The other game we cover a lot on this channel is Transformers TCG. Now, that has dropped 1 spot. It was 6th in fall 2018. It is 7th in spring 2019. It's doing pretty well. It's still sitting there above Vanguard, HeroClix, and Star Wars Destiny. It's showing that it's got some legs. The problem is, new games are always going to have a little bit of a boost because of the novel factor. Transformers has large character cards, and then there's some promo cards like Metroplex and Omega Supreme that are just redonkulously big. And of course, it is attached to the Transformers license, which is always going to make it that little bit more popular. Should you be overjoyed at how well Transformers is doing? I don't think overjoyed is the word. I think it's doing well. You shouldn't be disappointed if you like Transformers, but similarly, it's hard to see a game like Keyforge doing so well when Transformers is doing fine. Having said that, if you look at the games that are above Transformers, you've got Magic, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh!, the big 3. Keyforge, which we've just spent a few minutes talking about how great that's doing. D&D Icons of the Realms, which really is just miniatures to use in Dungeons & Dragons, which is having a bit of a resurgence lately. And then Dragon Ball Super, which has been going for a couple of years and has proven to be a very successful game with a lot of organised play and tournament support behind it. There's good reasons why Transformers is below those games. And to be honest, it's not actually Transformers that's fallen. If we look at the fall 2018, what's actually happened is that the D&D miniatures have jumped both Transformers and Dragon Ball. Outside of that, the top 7 is the same. It's just the D&D miniatures have jumped from 7 up to 5 and pushed Dragon Ball and Transformers down a spot. And to be fair, right, the market is very, very different. The people who are buying D&D miniatures are not going in and going, oh, shall I buy D&D miniatures or Transformers? You might quit one collectible card game to play another, but D&D miniatures, let's just say, probably a little bit different. Transformers is still sitting there above established games like Cardfight Vanguard, like HeroClix, like Destiny, which has disappointedly dropped to 10. Essentially, HeroClix has jumped over it from the previous list. It makes me personally sad to not see the Final Fantasy trading card game on the list. It is settling in as more of a niche game. It's 3 years old now. But what is very interesting is that they're still releasing sets regularly. They've still got regular tournaments. They've got a really good organised play going on. So even though it's not making the top 10 list, it doesn't mean the game is dead or dying or any of that rubbish. It means it's just not selling quite as much as these other games. Also interesting to note that Dragon Ball Super's doing pretty well. Fall 2017, it's sitting there at number 9. Spring 2018, it's gone up to number 8. Fall 2018, it's jumped all the way up to number 5, and okay, it's dropped to number 6 in the most recent list, but do bear in mind that's just because of the D&D miniatures jumping over it. Dragon Ball, I see a lot in the Facebook group of Dragon Ball about, oh, the game's dying, and Bandai are doing this wrong, and the game's never going to allow... Well, actually, the game's looking to do pretty gosh darn well, ladies and gentlemen. It's going pretty well. I'm not going to spend much time talking about Magic or Pokemon. They're Magic and Pokemon. Launching Magic Arena, the beta, probably has done nothing to hurt Magic. And certainly stories are coming out that Magic has had phenomenal sales, even by their own standards lately. And Pokemon is still Pokemon. Even if everybody stopped playing the game tomorrow, the amount of sales generated by children going into supermarkets and pestering their parents would probably keep it at number 2 on the list for a long time to come anyway. But it is a very well-established game. It's been going for 20 years. It's got a fantastic tournament circuit. And with Worlds starting in just over a week, the excitement level for that is about as high as it's going to be all year. That doesn't impact the list, incidentally, I'm just psyched for Worlds. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen, the top 10 collectible card games. I'd like to know your opinions on this. Are there any games that you think are too high? Are there any games you think are too low? Are there games you think should be on this list that aren't? Let me know in the comment section. Go nuts. Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, and follow me on Twitter at @TheWassy, where we talk about a whole bunch of games, like the ones we've just mentioned. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wassy Plays.